It's no secret that since the beginning of 2022, the US economy hasn't exactly smelt of roses. With the stock market down, inflation up, and the number of YouTube videos scaremongering about a recession increasing by the day. Even the men's underwear index, Alan Greenspan's personal favorite recession indicator, has been on a slight downward trend since the beginning of 2022. The idea is that since no one sees the underwear, this is one of the areas that men will stop spending in when they are strapped for cash. Just look at how the men's underwear index reacted to the COVID lockdowns in 2020. But the biggest indicator of a recession, and the one that has been historically used over the years, is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. The US economy shrank by 1.6% in the first quarter of 2022, and figures for the second quarter will be released this Thursday, July 28th. So this Thursday, depending on what happens, we could technically be in a recession. But this time, the current US administration thinks 2 quarters of negative growth isn't valid.
A common definition of recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP growth, and many economists expect second quarter GDP to be negative. First quarter GDP was negative. Even if that number is negative, we are not in a recession now.
This reminds me of when multiple government officials tried to say that inflation was transitory.
Some folks have raised worries that this could be a sign of persistent inflation. But that's not our view.
It's not the same thing as, and is not likely to lead to, persistently higher year-over-year inflation into the future.
In the second half of the year, I think we'll see a return to levels close to 2%.
The latest inflation figure is 9.1%, the highest for over 40 years. Inflation was considered transitory until it just kept going up and the truth became unavoidable.
Maybe it's not so transitory.
I think it's probably a good time to retire that word and try to explain more clearly what we mean.
And I believe the same is going to happen with the 2022 recession. Politicians say it doesn't exist, citing a strong labor market, until the reality of a recession becomes unavoidable. Unemployment is generally a lagging indicator of a recession that doesn't pick up until an economy has been in a recession for some time, but we have already started to see a slight uptick in jobless claims. But why do politicians need to do this? Well, the answer is most probably the midterms that are just 3 months away in November. According to a Gallup poll, 40% of Americans say that economic problems are their #1 issue. A poll by ABC shows 3 in 5 Americans disapprove of Biden's handling of the economy, and 83% of Americans say the economy is either extremely important or very important in how they will vote. So if the current administration can deliver a bit of good economic news before November, that might give them just enough votes to hold on to one of the chambers of Congress. We already see them releasing oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and celebrating a 50-cent per gallon drop in gas prices. But then Janet Yellen admits that oil prices will probably spike again in December.
That when the next round of sanctions is put in place in December by the European Union, we're concerned that significant amounts of oil could be shut in Russia, leading to an oil price spike.
Coincidentally, that's just after the midterms. And if they can keep the official declaration that we are in a recession at bay until after the midterms, that would help the Democrats a lot. However, there are many economists that think we are already in a recession, and if Thursday's GDP numbers come back negative, I don't think the media is just going to accept a new definition in order to help the administration. But on the bright side, not every recession is the same. It is possible that the economy could be in a technical recession, but the effects remain mild. Or we could just be totally screwed. What do you think? Leave your comments below. Please subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching Dirty Money.